Welcome back. Welcome back. My name is Ola. I'm the author of Smart Real Estate Wholesaling and Real Estate Money Secret. You can get those books anywhere. You can also get them in the description box below. Today, I want to talk to you about how to find cash buyers who actually close. The cash buyers are the people who have the money. They have the custody of the money you're trying to make in wholesale real estate. Wholesale real estate is a very lucrative business once you have a process and a system that you can continue to go over and over in cycles over and over again until it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right? So what does that look like? You go from data to deals. Let me show you, right? You go from data to deals. From data to deals, right? From data to, not from driving for dollars to deals. From data to deals. This is the digital era. You got to think in terms of data. If you're driving around, that means you don't know the value of your time and you're probably going to get frustrated, most likely, okay, because you're competing with the rest of the world. The rest of the world we use data, we use AI, we use machine learning to move money faster. The faster you can move money, the better. So you go from data, right? From data, you're able to go to contact, which is basically contact of people that have, they own a distressed property, right? Motivated sellers, right? So contact, right? And then from contact, you're able to convert contact, which is just a phone number or email address or some kind of contact information. You're able to convert that to a lead, meaning somebody's raising up their hands and they're saying, I'm interested in selling, right? At that point, it becomes a lead, right? From leads, you go to contract, right? You're able to put a property under contract for a set amount of dollars that's usually discounted, deeply discounted. And that way you're able to flip that into, let me see here, to a deal. Okay? Able to make money, right? All right. So between contract and deal, you're going to need what we call cash buyers, people that have access to funds. They are always looking for a good deal. If you have a good deal, they have money to pay for it. They have custody of the money you're trying to make right now. Does that make sense? All right. So that's what the path looks like. So finding the cash buyer is really why we're here on this video today. And so we go into this particular tool. You can take a free trial of this tool. It's called PropStream. The link is in the description box. Okay. This tool is absolutely everything you need. You don't need to be driving around town. So let's go to Newark, New Jersey, right? Let's say you found a deal, right, in Newark, New Jersey, right? You have it under contract. Wait 1 second. You have that deal under contract, Newark, New Jersey. Okay, so now you need a person, you need a buyer, you need somebody who actually has cash. You don't just want any buyer. You need somebody who has been buying for a while, somebody who actually can close the deal. That's what you're looking for, right? So you find a deal. On the last video, we talked about pre-foreclosure. You did your marketing, you found a good deal, you have it under contract, but now you need to sell the deal, right? So that will have to go to a cash buyer. That you want to make sure it's a cash buyer that can close. You don't want to talk to everybody because most people, they can only use like borrowed money or financing of some type, like conventional mortgages. And that's going to take time. If you have a property under deal, you have a property under contract right now, you want to make sure you lock that up and get it closed. So you don't want to waste time with people that don't have access to the necessary funds, if you know what I mean. So we will go here, right? We'll go to Newark and you can literally go under the filters over here, and if you look at this filter, you have auction, you have bank owned, you have bankruptcy, and then we have cash buyers, 5,964 of them in Newark. So you just click on that, and then it filters down, and then you can literally go through this. So you have another list of 9,171. Let me show you what just happened again. I'm going to click clear. Okay, we're going to go back to Newark, right? And then you notice that when I said Newark, there's 51,000 properties showing right here already. But we're going to put a filter so that we only see properties that has been purchased by cash buyer. So we'll go under filters, we'll go under cash buyer, and that tells me already it's 5,964 properties. And that gives me a list of 9,171 properties here, right? So we can also go through the filter, go back to the filter, and we can filter that down a little bit more, right? We can go to owner's information here, all right? And you can see here, you have some details. You can say vacancy, owner occupied. You can say that to no, because usually if it's a cash buyer investor, they're not living in the property, right? So when I did that, let me see, we were able to, did you narrow down? Not necessarily, but let me take a closer look, right? So we have cash buyers, we have, let's see if we can scroll through this a little bit. Okay, there you go. So we can literally scroll through here. You can narrow this down to the type of property that you're trying to sell. So you don't want people that buy commercial properties, you don't want to be marketing to them or be trying to reach out to them. Reduce it down to people that have actually purchased the kind of property you're looking to sell. People that have already purchased that kind of property are the best bet for you, right? So first step, again, you search the actual market, the actual city, and then you match the property type. So if we go under property type over here, let's scroll through. You can see here property condition. Let's see here. Okay, so property condition will give you overall property condition. You can see, you can set some of this filter, poor, right? So you could say poor to average. That will probably filter it down a little bit more, right? And you can say how many bathrooms, how many the kitchen condition. You can also say poor to average here. That will narrow down. It's already narrowing it down to 182. These are the people buying these properties, right? And then let's see, off-market deal. You want off-market deals. You want people that are also picking up properties off-market. But cash buyers would buy properties on MLS sometimes too. So it's just up to you. Depends on the market. If the market is too large, you want to narrow down as close as possible so you can pick up the phone and start calling these people or send out a postcard to them, letting them know that you have a property ready to go, right? So obviously here where it says listing type, just leave that to any, because we're just looking at the buyer's information at this point in time. Let's see here, pre-foreclosure, we don't want to worry about that. We just want to worry about owner occupied. We're going to set that to no. Vacant, we can leave that at any, right? You can, if you know that the property is much older property, like an existing property, not a brand new construction, you can also set the number of years of ownership here, right? Where it says owner type, you can put that in corporate if you want LLCs, because oftentimes investors will buy with LLC. But if it's a market where I already have 182 properties here, I can just leave that alone for now. Now I can close the filter and I can go into each one of these. I can look at, for example, we can look at this property on Columbia Avenue. If you scroll down to the cash sale, you can see some more detail, right? This property was purchased in 2018, $65,000. So that's too far back into the past, right? We can go back to the filter, okay? And you can go back to ownership information, last sales date. You can jump to it using this links on the left-hand side, and you see where it says years of ownership. You could set that to a maximum of, let's say, 5 years, right? That will narrow it down to 59 properties. So now we're looking at properties that has only been owned the last 5 years. Instead of going as far back as 2018, we're now going back to 26 to 1 only, right? So we can do it that way. We can also put a minimum, I guess, if you wanted to expand it, but you can play around with these filters. And so you see where it says absentee owner, out of state, out of county, just leave that alone because you're looking at the buyer's information. Now you could set the last sale date to a particular date. So if you want only recent people that have purchased in the last, you can either set a range or you can set a date. So we're going to put that on last year. And okay, so this last year is 58 properties, right? Now I can play around with this and push this down a little bit further to like 6 months ago. And the last 6 months will be, let's say, just February, right? And still showing 58. Let's push it forward again. There you go. Okay, still showing 58 properties, which is fine. Pre-probate, no. You can leave that alone as, just leave those alone, right? Just leave this alone. So these are cash buyers. We're going to click view the 58, right? So now let's go to Sussex Avenue. Let's take a look at you can see the owner is an LLC, which is fine. There's a way you can skip trace LLCs and find the actual contact. You can also see address in Brooklyn. This is a Newark property, but the address is in Brooklyn. That's another sign that that's an actual cash buyer. So you go under cash sale, you can see it says sales date 2022. All right, so that's within the last 5 years. So that other filter is setting it to just 5 years. So $300,000 sales date, right? So this person, this person is an LLC. somewhere in Brooklyn, just send a contact. Just contact those people. These people, if you have to send a $1 postcard to this person to let them know a property is available, if they pick up a property and you make $10,000, is it worth it? That's a question you want to ask yourself. But again, you want to set this up to a system. And you can see the filter that I said earlier. You see property condition, average, exterior. You can play around with this and see what works for you. Every market is different, which is why you want to kind of continue. You want to continue to build your buyers list over time, and also continue to connect with the buyers in the environment regardless, okay? Because these people, they have access to all the money you need to do all the deals you want to do. All right, that's all I have for you on this episode today. If you're interested in this software, just the link is right there's the first thing in the description box, and we'll take you from there. But also we have a course on the homepage of this channel that shows you how to use it from data to deals, like I said earlier on, step by step. It's a 5 to 7 part short courses that will get you going in the business, and so you can stop wasting time on non-income generating activities like driving around town, writing down addresses. Okay, so, and that's what I preach, and that's what works, and it's going to continue to work. I've been doing this for I closed my first deal in 2005, about 21 years ago. So I know what I'm talking about. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. Get the books for free. The links to the books are also in the description. Take care and God bless. Bye now. Peace.